Good morning, hello, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It was scheduled for 5:30. Central Time is 5:51, but honestly, it was pretty dark at 5:30. So I was watching it, or trying to watch the baseball highlights, but some little difficulties there. But I think I watched them all. I have to check on that. Doesn't really matter. The Cubs won. The White Sox lost. What's new? Astros won. It's daylight now, pretty much. So we have a taste challenge. Famous old blended Scotch whiskey from 1884, Buchanan's. Well, I say famous. Famous for some parts of the world. United States, yes. Latin America, yes. Canada, you can't even get it. No, explain that, but that's the truth. It's got that special cap where you can pour out, but you can't pour in. Why is that? To prevent people from dumping it out and replacing it with cheaper stuff. Sad, huh? Buchanan's Deluxe. Look, see, it's barely dripping. When I first bought it, I said, it sounds like it has a bell in it. Like there was some kind of little bell or gadget. Well, it was. It was a piece of plastic floating in there, lodged in there on purpose to keep you from dumping it and refilling. You can dump it out, but apparently you can't refill it. So, Buchanan's is splashed everywhere. Look at that. Gold, dark. Now, like, let's say just gold. Nice. Not too drippy. Alcohol eggs aren't developing too well. I don't, maybe the drips prevented that some kind of way. We've got Cutty Sark from 1923. So this is much more modern. It's only 95 years old. The other one's over 100 years, 133 years, 134 years old. Now, Buchanan's Deluxe is aged 12 years. Uh-oh. I have to bring that down a little bit. Cutty Sark, we do not know. I've seen videos there saying people are guessing 4 years, maybe 5. It's a mystery, and it's not 12. They don't give an age statement. Oh, that's all we know. It's at least a minimum, which is what, 3 years over there in Scotland. Well, whatever the case, it's younger. Look how much lighter it is, though. This one, Buchanan's probably adds a lot more coloring. Scotch is allowed to add caramel coloring. Yeah. And I did check the Foster's Premium Ale on the Miller Coors website. They're still saying they're adding caramel coloring. They don't say it on the can anymore. The can used to say caramel color added. So I thought they were getting the color just from the roasted or toasted malts. No, they're adding caramel color. And that's an updated May 2018 nutritional information with all the recipes on there. They don't have the recipe for not the recipe, but you know, the ingredients list for Old Vienna. Oddly, it's blank. All the rest, they have it. You can see that the Cutty Sark is much lighter. It's pale straw. It might have coloring, but not a lot. And this one's just straight up gold. Gold Dust Woman. All right. So if I glance down at them, guess what? I'm going to tell them apart. I don't want to do that. Now, I do have a challenge coming up with Buchanan's Deluxe versus Drum Castle. That's probably a waste of time because as I discovered, and I'll do it one more time just for the heck of it. But I discovered that the Irish whiskey, it really isn't the same as Scotch. Now, in isolation, it's funny about these taste challenges, or it's interesting. In isolation, you'll think, oh, this tastes so For instance, smoky, like we thought the Drum Castle was fairly smoky, but in competition, you could barely pick up the smoke. It's strange. And then, or you might drink that 100 Pipers. Wow, a lot of smoke. You put it in a taste challenge, it tastes like corn chips. And the smoke is so faint. So it's funny and helpful, if one should say helpful, for a taste challenge, as though that's in any way important. You know, you might be watching this and enjoying it. Okay, that's good. But to think it's important, no, this is not an important exercise. It's for entertainment purposes only, obviously. Now, some of my videos are for education and entertainment, like history and government videos, or maybe the history of a beer, or, you know, but mostly they're just entertainment. And some people can't grasp those concepts, but I think most people can. Most reasonable people can realize that. Anyway, okay, I got to remove my eyeglasses. I don't have to, I prefer to, without glancing. Okay, I think that the Buchanan's is going to be a much richer and smokier and more developed flavor. I assume that. I don't know that. I'm about to find out. And you would think the Buchanan's would be better than the Cutty Sark. Okay, I'd like to try that Prohibition Cutty Sark, the 100 proof, sort of like a bonded whiskey, but it's Scottish. Be curious to see. Probably never get to it, but I'd be curious. I got to answer these messages later. I know people sent me a lot of comments and not messages, but comments on my videos, and I'm not ignoring you. I just haven't gotten around to doing it since yesterday afternoon. But I will. While I'm uploading a video, I'm going to upload another video that David and myself shot. Is a revisit. Okay. Don't look. All right. Let me mix them up again. I might have even glanced that quickly. I don't think I did. I want to be so sure about this. I would never cheat. Believe me, I would never cheat. What would be the point of cheating on these things? You know, you have to be a real maniac to do that. I mean, because what if you won? If you get it right anyway, what if you won? You just showed you could tell them apart. Okay, all right, let's think about this. There's almost some meatiness to it. Now, I was eating the Spam, the hickory smoke flavored Spam, and the 2 eggs this morning with the onions and the cheese, good cheese too, and Tabasco and black pepper, and made an omelet out of it. But this has some of that. We're talking about the hickory smoke. They're probably just using that liquid smoke in that, but this has some smoked pork attributes, if you can believe it, and it does. Now, I was talking to somebody yesterday. He's 70. Okay. I think he's 78 years old. I work with him, and he said, "Oh, Scotch. I hate Scotch." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Smells and tastes like." He said, "Smells like an old dirty mop." I said, "A dirty mop?" Well, I didn't have time to keep talking about it, but I said to myself, "A dirty mop." I said, I think I told him, I said, "To me, it smells like smoked pork or something, or wood, but a mop." Yeah, so this one's got rich smoked, you know, it's that peat smoke and rich grain or something. It's complex, yes. Over here now. Huh. There's smokiness, right? But there is, I don't know how to describe these beers, wine, and liquors properly. I don't. Somebody said, "You could be a sommelier or a cicerone, whatever." I said, "How?" I'm always just trying to figure out what I'm smelling. They'll give 25 descriptors for things, but they might be making it up too, you know. It's like a pungent honey. Yeah, like a honeycomb. Didn't I say that before about Cutty Sark? There was some honeycomb, or there's citrus of some, or I might have said marmalade, some fruit-based consideration. Now I think this must be Cutty Sark and that must be Buchanan's, but you know, I'm not too sure about that. Okay. You say, well, what about like against 100 pipers? And what's the well, Scoresby does have some character. It doesn't have that, you know, the 100 pipers is fine. You know, you want to pay $8.99 and get a cheap whiskey and drink it, fine. That's very good and it's a good value. But don't think it's going to have this kind of complexity and richness. No, it's just going to taste like grain alcohol. Grain, you know, corn. They distill it. They make corn distillate. And then they've got a little bit of single malt scotch added in to give it some kind of character, so it's not just like a bottle full of alcohol. And be a good one to start with, maybe on somebody that's sensitive to taste and aroma that might be put off by scotch, because it ain't going to have much smokiness. So, but that's so elementary or basic. You're not getting too much with it. Now, but these you'll get more. You're paying more, but you'll get more, right? Although I saw Cutty Sark on sale for was $12.99, I think, at Rouse's. So hey, the price is dropping. But we have to go with the taste. This is a taste challenge. So preliminary part of this, I think this is Buchanan's. I think this is Cutty Sark. Well, you could tell, you know, the Buchanan's are dark. I can't. Let's see. Oh man, it has such a smoky quality. It's just like a tunnel with smoke in it. It's almost like that, you know, that David Bowie video, Heroes from 1977, where they make it look like it's, but the way they do the lighting, like he's in a tunnel and it's full of smoke. Well, I mean, you know, it isn't that, but it gives you that sort of like perception. And this has that sort of round perception thing. Huh. Wow. I like it, but I'm not. Okay, next. Not the smoke tunnel. This is like sweet, some kind of sweet cereal, like definitely a sweet cereal, maybe some honey with there, like a honey nut, not Cheerios. It's smoky, no. Sweet grain, yes. Smoky, no. Sweet grain, yes. Let's go a second sip because, oh, okay. The aroma has that sweet thing too. There's a there's a background of peat smoke, but it is not in the foreground at all. It is in the background. Do these taste the same? No way. Forget that. Yeah, so really what grows here is just sweet whiskey. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's like sweet whiskey. It doesn't have that harshness and that bad bite of like a Barton Premium American blended whiskey. That's just like, you don't chew it, it chews you, you know, but it has a commonality with that. You say, oh, he's gone mad, he's off the rails. I don't think I'm off the rails because, well, I mean, yeah, that's 80% grain whiskey, you know, corn, distillate, grain neutral spirits. I know this is probably not that high, but it's coming through, you know, and you're not going to get any smokiness with Barton. Might get some wood though, charred wood. So I guess that's kind of in the same world, right? Smoke comes from burning things. Charred wood comes from burning things. Carbon, carbon, right? Get it? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Calm down. We're going to do this. We're going to make it through it. We'll make it through. All right. I'm going to do, which one do I prefer? I think I prefer this one in my left hand. Could be to your right, because this one has more smokiness, that tunnel of smoke. Smokehouse. All right. Is it lighter? Yes, it's lighter bodied. Now this thing here, it's more heavy bodied. It's more of a syrupy mouthfeel. All I'm going to say is I like this better. Now, whether if it's Cutty Sark, I'm going to feel played because I bought a 12-year and it doesn't match up to a 3 or 4-year. 5, maybe, outer limits. But then I did get a deal on the Buchanans. I paid $12 for the Buchanans, and that's a 375 milliliter and a 375 milliliter of Clubhouse gin. Is it the world's greatest gin? Pretty sure we know that answer to that question. Certainly not the worst. It's odd. Tastes like lemon lime flavored gin. I don't know the concept behind that. Wasn't bad though. I'd put it in the freezer and sipped on it for a week or so, 2 weeks. Heaven Hill. Wasn't bad. Strange. Not bad. So I got those 2 bottles for $12 all together. Now that was, if you want to call it after tax, it was sort of like an illicit, but that's on them, not me. You know what I mean? Like they've swung the deal. I just asked, they made the deal. I gave them the $12 even. Now, how he handles that between the state and federal regulatory agencies as far as tax purposes, that's his problem. He's the one that called out the offer, and I bid on it and said $12, we'll do it. Let's go. You consider that Buchanan's a full-size bottle is $35. I got a great deal. Okay, would rather have a 750, honestly, but okay. But no, I think this has to be Buchanan's because it's got too much refinement to be Cutty Sark, and there's no way it could. It's twice the price. It can't be. It's over twice the price. It can't be that. It can't. This has to be 12 years. This has to be that 4 or 5-year-old. It can't be. It cannot be. And if I'm wrong, I'll be kind of shook up, you know, like a little disoriented. But anyway, that's the challenge. That's the risk of a live taste challenge. Sometimes you get it wrong. You feel embarrassed on the internet, you know, but live television, so to speak. Would I recommend both? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they're fine. I mean, I'm talking about the syrupy qualities here of the body and all, and it's just, you know, it's fine. It's okay. It's even good. You could argue in many ways it's good. This one's really great. Really good whiskey, you know. Okay, so I'm going to say Buchanan's 12-year. Buchanan's Deluxe 12-year. Please let me be right. It is BD Cooper. Buchanan's Deluxe. It had to be. It could not be. There's no way that could have been that refined and be a young Scotch. No way, Jose. I mean, no way, Malcolm. No way, Robert. That was interesting to me. So, if a person takes a 12-year-old blended Scotch and puts it in a blind taste challenge against a 4 or 5-year-old blended Scotch, then one will be able to clearly differentiate the two based on their complexity and quality level. I think that hypothesis is quite accurate. The if and then. If you do it, then you'll know. When I put Buchanan's up against 100 Pipers, it's going to be like this. I'm going to get it on aroma only. I had this on aroma, right? Wanted to be sure with the taste, right? But that's going to be a short video. There's no way that can be close. So what do we say about this? The Buchanan's is dynamite. I can see why it is the most popular Scotch in Latin America and one of the most around the world. Why it's not sold in Canada, you explain that. Now, it's like there's a market which would buy it. It's like I had people from Canada tell me I'd buy it. Can't get it. It's madness, you know. The most fascinating part of it, you can get a little of that grain though, that you know, this blended. But the most fascinating part is that this is the cheap one, right? Like this is their base model. The Buchanan's 12-year, that's the base model. It gets much better than that. Okay, that's your $35 bottle for the, you know, $7.50. It goes up to, could be 100. Much more aged and developed whiskeys from Buchanan's, which is part of the Diageo empire today. But it seems like they let them run it independently to a large extent, and that's the smart way to do it. Cutty Sark, yes, there is the prohibition, and I have seen some other Cutty Sarks, like John and Eli was talking about that one we saw that was $200. That's no longer produced, I don't believe. It might be a special issue. I'll never know what it tastes like because I'm not paying $200, and I doubt anybody's gonna run up and give me a bottle. So, but you know, I can't wait to try those other Buchanan's, those really deluxe ones down the road. So yeah, you know, you can buy cheap Scotch and say, yeah, it's got some decent qualities, and that's fine, and you can live your life buying that, and I would be satisfied, I guess. But no way, there's no way you could buy these cheap Scotch whiskeys and think it's good like Chivas Regal 18-year age, which is what, like $75 a bottle, something like that. It's not going to happen. That will not happen. Okay. Cutty Sark, yeah, it's fine. I mean, you know, it's $12.99 on sale at Rouse's. I'm tasting it. I've seen video. I was watching a video last night. They were really bragging on it. Yeah, you can brag on Cutty Sark. All right, one more taste. But it has a lot of attributes that let you know that it is sold at a proper level. It's $13 a bottle, and it acts like it's $13 a bottle, right? And after all, heck, on their website, they tell you, well, this is really made for blending. You know, it ain't really for sipping. Why is that? It doesn't have enough character. And secondly, if you sip on it enough, those inferiorities, if you want to call them that, are going to come out. They're going to come into play. With Buchanan, you have much less of that. And I'm pretty sure if I get the 18-year or the, what is it, something like a 24-year, whatever, it's going to be much more developed. Okay, is it hard drinking this early in the morning? No, it's not hard. My biggest challenge this morning, I was trying to watch those baseball highlights. And ESPN used to have a recap for each game, about a minute long. They did a good job. But ESPN's falling apart. You know, they're more worried about social change than sports. Seems to me if it's a sports channel, they should worry about sports. But they're too busy preaching about whatever social topic you could think of. You know what I'm talking about. You know, forget sports. That's not really important. We're a sports channel that doesn't cover sports. So they cut a lot of their staff. And so they don't even, you might have, okay, so you got 15 games on a full day. You might have 5 highlights. The rest is just somebody hitting a home run. Anderson hits home run. Cubs go out ahead. But that's not a recap. I want to see. Then Yahoo has it. But they're so fast. Like this guy got the first, this one through, he didn't catch him, he hit a home run, they won. It's so quick you can't even take it in what happened. MLB has the best recaps, but they're about 2 minutes long, 2.5 minutes long. So then you're going through 15 games. See, now you're taking up an hour, really, when you go through all of that. So ESPN did not help us out by getting rid of their they still do it for the NFL. They have a recap for each game, which lasts about a minute and 10 seconds, and they do fine. But they, you know, they're so inferior to what they were 5 years ago. 5 years ago, ESPN was much better than now, and it probably was much better 5 years before that. So it's kind of sad to watch it deteriorate. And when Disney bought, you know, when ABC bought ESPN, that was okay. But then when Disney bought that whole operation, then you knew it was going to start to collapse. Because the whole concept of Disney is not entertainment. It's more like revolutionary activity through the use of entertainment. You see, that's their purpose. And I think anybody who is unbiased can look at that and see very clearly that it is not about entertainment. I mean, you can see that. It's affecting cultural, well, I don't want to get into it, but I mean, people know what I'm talking about. You have enough awareness of what's happening in the world to know that. That's the whole purpose of that outfit. It's been that way for decades. It wasn't that way. At one time, it was about entertainment. Then it became revolution. Okay, so next we got Buchanan's up against another Scotch whiskey in a couple of days. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Thanks for watching this video production.